Alright, this is the third time I've made this video. The first time I didn't like the way it turned out. The second time, somehow or another I lost part of my footage. So this is the Maxilator accumagraple. So y'all see the little sticker? Maxilator, hay handling equipment, accumulator grapple, accumagraple. This one is the accumagraple. Well, I'm going to go over this piece of equipment. I'm going to tell y'all about this one, and then I'm going to tell you about the new one. Okay, so that way it keeps everything simple. This model is the original model that they came out with. It doesn't have the extendable arms. They're solid mounted. It has the channel frame instead of the square tubing frame. It is not made as heavy as the one that they have now. This one is wider than the one they have now. This particular model is supposed to go out in the field, accumulate your hay, pick the hay up once you have it accumulated, set it on the truck, come home with this one piece of equipment right here, just this one, pull your guards off the sides, your plates out of the center, and then leave the one on the end, and then you unload your hay and put it in the barn. Now, it don't work that way exactly. This model has a flaw. They've corrected it on the new models. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through how exactly this works for people who may not know. You put this on the front of your tractor or your skid steer, one of the two. You drive forward going down the square bales for little bales like those. You run 2 down long ways down this slot, 2 down that slot, 2 down this slot, and 2 down that slot. Then when you get those full, there should be 8 bales in it. Then when you get to the ends, on the end of your square, I'll get one to demonstrate it. Okay, now I got my bale hay. Now once you get the 8 bales run straight in, what you're going to want to do is you're going to come up to the next bale and you're going to take this bar on both sides. You can do it either side or use the middle bar. You're going to hit it right about where your twine's at, your string. And when you hit this bale, it's going to push around like that. And when it does, it's going to fit. It's going to fit in here, up and down there. It's down on the ground right now, so it's not going to fit. But it slides up in here, just like it is right now, into these hooks. And that forms a 10 bale pack. Because you do it on both sides. You have 5 on this side and you have 5 on this side. Well, then once you get your 10 bale pack, you hit your third function hydraulics. These hooks go down and hook into these bales, and you pick it up off the ground, the whole group, or they call them packs. You pick the pack up off the ground, and then you bring it over and you stack it on your trailer. This one here's got part of it missing because we've been pulling hay off of it, but it'll look something like this layer here. You'll have your straight bales, and then you have your long bales that run this way. There's 8 of these long bales, and then there's 2 of these, one on each end. And when you're stacking them, they're going to look like, you'll do a tie layer. You'll have one layer to run like this, and then you're going to flip and load from the other side, and you'll have your butt ends on the other layer like this one is. These are got a lot of loose hay on, but your strings are right here on this one. So it'll be like that. That's the way you stack your hay with these. Now I like the 10 bale packs because they have a tie layer with the straight bales. If you get an 8 bale pack, you have no tie layer. So you have to strap when you get done loading each individual bale. Say this is a bale, strap here, next bale strap there, and so on all the way down your trailer. And it's a pain. But with the tie stack, you don't have to do that. You just run 2 long straps down the length of your trailer, down the center of your stack bales, and you're good to go. Sometimes I do 3 if I'm going a long distance for this bale here that's in the middle, so that way it can't fall off. But most of the time I just pull 2. I pull 1 on this string here on this tie bale, and then the other ones I run right through the center of the long bales, and I've never lost a bale hay. Now we're going to get into what they don't tell you about this piece of machinery. I'll be demonstrating all this, and y'all be watching me load hay with this many times this year. But what they don't tell you is that with this particular model, you can't adjust the tightness between the bales. Well, there's gaps in between here because the different balers vary on different sizes of bales, and even it doesn't matter what you use, there's still going to be a gap. Now when you pull your pieces out the way this one is, this one, and that one, and leave this end bar here on, the way those work is you pull these pins out, this drops down, and there's y'all can see that runs all the way down there to the plate right here. That pulls out and you take these off. Now these plates, the flat plates, have these slots. As y'all can see, you slide, pull a pin right up there, this one right here, out, and you slide these plates forward through these notches, and you pull those out when you're loading, unloading. Now what I don't tell you is with this particular model, you have to accumulate all your hay first, then you have to go back, take your pieces off like I was just talking about, and then load your hay, and then when you get home you unload your hay. You cannot load with one accumagraple in this model by itself and unload, because without taking these pieces out before you load the hay. And the reason why is your stacks will be loose and they'll fall over with these pieces in here. Now what happens is there'll be gaps in between your stacks if you leave them in there, and it'll be loose. Now you can go to the end and push the stack over with this bar with all the pieces in it and load it that way, and have your hooks set like these are, right down the middle. The issue with doing that is when you get home and you have these pieces out, you have to take the pieces out to unload, because you can't get these back in them because they'll move. The stacks will. Now you have to take all those out, and when you take all those out, when you grab a hold of it to get it tight, your hooks are going to be off. Your hooks have to be set to pick the hay up without any pieces in it, and they have to be offset so much. Now I'm going to show y'all what the offset is by this other grapple I have behind me. This side, if you'll notice, each one of these is centered right down the middle of their channels. That's the way they should be to load with it like this. Now when you take the pieces off, you see how close this one is? Now come over here. There's a difference. Now this one isn't nearly as severe as this one. Look how wide that gap is. You're nearly over to your second hook on the front. Now look at this. See the difference? Going by this, and I've had it set up this way when I used to only use this, those hooks need to be just to this side right here of that plate. Now if you have those hooks that way, you can't pick these bales up with those pieces on, because you'll drop them everywhere. They won't stay in there, they'll fall out. Now if you go by another grapple like this, you can unload with this one. You can accumulate, grab them, stick them on the trailer, take this end bar, push them over, make your stacks tight as you go, and load and everything with this. And you don't have to run around the field accumulating first. Now they don't tell you that. Now, I did a lot of hay with accumulating first, accumulate all my hay up that's in the field first and put it in the squares, go to the next square or next bunch, accumulate it, go to the next bunch, accumulate it, leave them laying in the field where I got a full set of these done. I did a lot of hay that way. Then when you get done accumulating, you have to pull all that off, go back, load your hay, set this thing on the back of the truck, strap it down, go home, put it on the other piece of equipment you got that'll hook up to it, unload, load it back on the truck, strap it down, go back to the field, load some more, and keep doing that continuously. The most I ever did that way in one day was 1,000 bales. And that was one long day. I think I finished sometime after midnight that night doing that. Now, with using this machine, accumulating with this one, picking them up and loading them with this one, coming home, unloading with this one like it is, I could do 1,000 easy in a day. Now that's still working pretty hard, but it's easy, a whole lot easier. Now the new ones of these are not supposed to be this way. I haven't run one, I can't tell you. They have a square tube design frame all the way down it. They're big, they're huge square tubing. The tubes run across the front. These have a pin that goes through here and they slide in and out just like that. And you can adjust these to be tight. Now it may be a little bit harder running your bales in, but your hooks, when you pull your pieces off, ain't gonna be as far off, and you can get, it's a lot easier to use one machine with that one, because you could do like I'm doing right now. You could accumulate it, set your hooks, tote that group to the trailer, set it on the trailer, go accumulate some more with the new one. Now with this one you can't do that. You just can't do it, because your stacks, I'm just going to show y'all what the stacks would look like if it's not accumulated. You're going to have gaps in your hay like that. And anybody that's ever loaded any square bales before knows that that ain't going to work, because that's going to fall off the trailer. You're going to lose half your hay before you get home doing it. Now, I'd love to have a pull behind accumulator to go behind my baler that was like a holster, but did a 10 bale pack like these do, and picks 10 up at a time with the 2 sideways and the 8 long. The reason why I like that style is you can do a tie layer every other layer, so that way your hay won't move. It fills the whole trailer out, and you have no hangover or nothing. If you do 8 bales that don't fill the trailer out, you don't have a tie layer, your hay is loose as it can be, and you're going to lose a lot. If you do 12 bales, you're too wide, you're still going to have a really loose stack, because it's still all long and no tie layers. So I don't like 8 and 12, which is mostly what they all are, but I don't like them because your stacks fall, you have trouble with them, they're just a nightmare. Now, with 10 bale, you don't have that problem. They stay pretty sturdy. They don't move around much, and it works a lot better. So I'd love to have me a pull behind accumulator behind the baler, and then make this just a full-time grapple and take all the stuff off of it, set the hooks like that one is, and then load with this one and unload with that one, and let Dad accumulate as he bales with the Massey baler, and that would speed me up tremendously. I could probably do 2,000 bales a day if I had a rig like that, but I ain't got one. The problem is the Steffen system there's other drag systems that go on the ground that's real low to the ground. They don't have enough ground clearance for me in my area. I have a lot of terraces in my land and hay fields, and I could never use those in that because they would bottom out and it would bend them and probably ruin them and everything. Now, if I had a design system like a holster that's got good ground clearance but does a 10 bale pack, I could go that route. But as far as I know, I've looked everywhere, and the only company that makes one is a company out of Australia, and I cannot remember the name of it. It is perfect for me, but they only sell them in Australia. They don't sell them here. Holster doesn't make a 10 bale. I've heard that they used to. I can't find any used ones that's 10 bales that's any good. The new ones are all 8s or 12s. Most of them's 8s. I don't want 8. You have about 2 foot less or space on the bottom of the trailer that's narrower than an 8-foot trailer bed, and they only stack in long, and they don't have a tie layer, and they'll fall off real easy. And I'm not crazy about that. Now I know a lot of people probably are like, you're crazy, I use mine all the time and it doesn't. I've seen them. I've looked at trailers that's been loaded with them. I just don't like it. So that's why I use the 10 bale Maxilator and the 10 bale grapple that we got. Now probably I haven't broke any hooks with this machine. The only repairs I've had to make is these used to be open, and they had cotter pins stuck through the end of the square tubing, and washers like these, they were pulling out. So what we did was we just capped those off with steel plates, so that way the rod has to stay in between the length of the machine. It runs all the way over there and back to here, and they sit inside of these bushings. They're made out of like a composite material, and they slide into those and they rotate. Then those plates just keep them from going in and out. The other thing I've had to do this machine since I've had it is these little round pieces right here that these go slide over have broke off. On one side I know, and the other side I can't remember if it did or not. I think I broke one off, and then the other one, one of the tubes cracked that slides over the outside, cracked, and I had to redo it. And that's it. I don't like these little cheesy kick stands they call them they've got. You pull this off when you got your bar over here off and your plates, and you're just using it as a grapple like this one. You pull that little kickstand off, and instead of this jack stand, this one had one. It's right here, and it's just a little piece of pipe that runs down for when you got it off the machine to hold it up. Now, as you can see, that one broke off. If you hit it, my grandpa did that. He was coming out here, he didn't know what he was doing, and he reached up way up high at the top of the stack, and he didn't know it had a kickstand, and he knocked my whole he knocked 150 square bales down, tore them down, busted 10 or 12 trying to grab a stack of hay because he didn't know what he was doing, and he broke my kickstand off right after we got that one. So that's what happened with that. I don't like them. They're kind of cheap made, but when you got somebody that's trying to push like a bulldozer with the thing, can't figure out why it won't go into the stack, ain't nothing really gonna last. So, but that is the Maxilator accumagraple, and I like it. It's a good idea and design. I wish this one would have been a little heavy, would have been heavier like the new model, and I wish it would have been adjustable for the in and out. If it would have been those things, I think I would have been perfectly happy with this machine, and I don't think I would have ever had any issues. But this particular one has had a little issues, and I'm glad to see that Maxilator has addressed those issues. But anytime you come out with something new and you never put it on the market and people really went to working with them, you're not going to know until after a few years goes by, so you can get some intel back to see what holds up and what don't hold up. But overall, I like it. It's been a good machine. It has its problems like anything does. Now on the ends, they sell plates. Instead of the Bobcat, you can get the European style hooks like my 5400 has to hook on that, but obviously we use it with the skid steer. So the 1840 is a 45 horsepower skid loader, and I do run it on the front of that, both of these, and it will pick them up. Y'all can look up the weights it'll pick up. I can't remember. It won't pick up much, but it'll pick up these. On the front of the tractor, it's a little, you can feel it a little bit, but not really. So that's the Maxilator. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Give me that thumbs up. I hope this was informational for y'all.